of the questions that I get asked often is how much can I really make on Outschool? That's a little bit of a difficult question because there are as many variables as there are teachers on Outschool. As I've mentioned in previous videos, on Outschool you can choose your class size, the length, and the price. So as I said, there could be as many answers as there are teachers on Outschool. Outschool recommends that you charge $12 for an hour class. Now, I'm not going to say that I always stick to that, but that is the recommendation. So if you have a $12 for an hour class and you have 6 students, which is kind of a good spot for a class size, if you have 6 students at $12 for an hour, you make $72. Now, don't forget that Outschool does take 30% of that. So after their cut, Outschool would send you $50.40. That's not bad for an hour's work. Now granted, not all of your classes will always fill. You may choose to have more students. Some of the classes can handle more students. I will say that I do tend to stick around 6 students in my classes because since I teach primarily Spanish classes, I need the kids talking. So having more than that 6 students kind of gets a little bit chaotic. So my sweet spot is around 6 students. I have taught a few with 7 or 8 when I have some siblings wanting to join in at the last minute, and that works, but I prefer to keep it around 6. Okay, that being said, do I always charge $12 an hour on Outschool? No, actually I don't. I do some private tutoring, and for that at the moment I'm charging $15 for a 30-minute session. Therefore, I could make $30 an hour tutoring on Outschool. And that is actually quite cheap compared to what personal tutoring, private tutoring is available in most cities. You are welcome to make your choices. I do highly suggest that you don't price your classes too low because then that makes the parents think that it's not of higher quality. If you do want to price low for a little while, maybe to get some practice students or maybe to try and attract some different students, I would make sure and put in the class description this is special pricing and make sure that they know that this is not what you normally charge. So if you teach 2 classes a day and you make $50 per day, then you could easily make $100 each day, and 5 days a week you could make $500. Now that's simple math. If I actually look at my numbers, it gets kind of crazy because not all of my classes completely filled. Some of my classes had an extra child because a student wanted to sign up and they had a sibling, so it is okay to add an extra kid once in a while. I have some classes that I did need to issue a refund for one reason or another. Outschool does have a refund policy that you can basically say you do not accept refunds if they don't cancel within 24 hours. Typically, if a parent contacts me and lets me know there's an issue, I go ahead and refund them. I also have a problem that I have a Spanish immersion class where the whole class is in Spanish. I've mentioned that several times in my description, but unfortunately, sometimes the parents overlook that, and I've had a couple of kids in my class that have no clue what's going on. So in those cases, I will typically issue a refund and invite them to one of my beginner level classes. So as you can see, $500 a week. If you have 4 weeks in a month, that could be $2,000. I will say that my income over the last 2 months on Outschool has far exceeded that, like almost double. So I highly suggest, if you haven't looked into Outschool, this is a great opportunity. I love it. I'm loving my experience here, and I highly recommend you look into it. Another question I have along these lines is, what do I do about taxes? Well, this is just like any other self-employed job. You are responsible for your taxes. I should be saving a certain percentage of the money that I'm getting in my PayPal account from Outschool. I should be saving that to go toward taxes at the end of the year. I'm not going to say I'm always great about doing that, but I will end up paying it when it comes time for taxes at the end of the year. So if I don't save it, I'm going to have to come up with it from somewhere. So handle your taxes as you see fit. I am not a tax expert. I highly recommend that you start if you start making money on Outschool, maybe it would be a good thing to talk to an accountant or a financial advisor. That is not my specialty and that is not my job. But do prepare that you will need to do your own taxes. Now, Outschool does not send you a 1099. We are not individual contractors. We are using their platform to perform our services. So it's a little different than VIP Kid or some of the other ESL companies that you may have worked with in the past. You won't get a 1099. So you can print off a report that will tell you how much you've made that year, and that would be what you would use for your taxes. It would be just like any other small business. Again, I don't have all the answers on taxes. That's like the very basic explanation. Okay, so I hope that helps a little bit so that you can see the income potential that you can make at Outschool. If you teach a full day, you can make some serious money. I try to keep my schedule relatively easy for me. I don't want to get burned out, and I do get tired. So your income will depend on how much you want to put into it. Now, will all of your classes fill immediately? No, probably not. It's going to take you a while to get a following. So just be prepared. You're probably not going to bring in all the bucks the first week. It's probably going to take a few weeks, maybe even a month or so before you start getting students. I do highly suggest that to start out with, and actually Outschool requires, that you start out with a one-time class. I suggest you start with something short, something that you're really passionate about or that you're really good at, and so that you can teach a really good class and get students that are interested in doing more with you. That's what I did to begin. I started with a couple of very easy Spanish vocabulary classes, and my students were asking for more. They were asking, well, what else can we take from you? So that's how I grew my Outschool following. I've tried a couple of on-time classes in a couple of different subjects, and they've gone well, but I will say that it's taking a little while to build a following. And I have my own niche, so I kind of stick with that. So I would suggest that you do a few one-time classes, and then you can always bundle those into a longer class or maybe even a flex class. So there are a lot of variables on Outschool, but the income potential is really there. Also, right now, I will be honest, they have a great referral bonus. I'm very happy to try and help people learn about Outschool, whether you use my referral code or not. I do appreciate it. It's in the description for you below if you would like to use it, but I'm going to help you whether you use my code or not. That's not a problem. But they do have a good referral bonus. So once you get signed on, start giving your code to the people that you know that might be interested. There's also a referral bonus if you get parents to sign up. However, what you get in that case is a credit to use for another class, which for me doesn't really work because my son is past Outschool's age. So that being said, again, the income potential for Outschool is very strong. It just depends on how much effort you're going to put into it and how many hours a day you plan on working. That being said, you can make some pretty good money just working an hour or two every day or every other day. It's definitely a great side hustle to look into. So as I said, my referral code will be below. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a message or contact me on Facebook. I'm here and I'm ready to help. Have fun Outschooling. Goodbye.